I just finished up Thursday. Went a little bit lighter today. So we got the guys out of there a little bit sooner today. So to get in here and answer more questions from our media, I was prepared for you guys. So let's fire away.
What's the week been like for Andrew Hendricks? Sometimes when a guy gets a bigger role, it kind of lights a fire under him. I'm curious what kind of week he had.
I think that's a pretty good assessment of his week. I thought he was a lot more engaged, just locked in a lot more relative to every little detail of the offense, and I think you could probably hope to expect that, from somebody who played last week. But I thought he had a great week. Really contributed to what we were doing this week.
Was Shelton's week any different than the previous one in terms of how much you were able to do, how much you were able to push him?
Yeah, we were able to get a little bit more out of him. I think we're at that plateauing, where I think he's going to see gains as we kind of give him a little bit of a break too. I think we'll see some gains over the next 48 hours. But he definitely is going to play on Saturday. I don't know that you're going to see 50, 60 reps, but he's going to be on the field on Saturday.
You talked about ordinary things on Tuesday. Was that kind of the you get what you demand theme this week? I mean, is that kind of what you tried to structure practices to demand and get that stuff out of your guys?
I think that's one of the things that I was asking, from our guys, and I think more than anything else is that I want to make sure that it's not too complicated for them to comprehend why we're 3-2. Sometimes, when you're 3-2, you ask questions. Why are we where we are? And so we wanted to make it really clear that we all, coaches, have to do a better job communicating, which is, fundamental and good teaching. And players have to do a better job of, just really tying down some of the basic fundamentals. And so that was the theme all week, so we could really make progress on those things this week in practice and say, hey, we tangibly made a point of emphasis of these things so we can see them on Saturday.
We've been asking you about offensive identity for like a month.
Yeah.
2 tight ends, close out the game at Purdue with it.
Yeah.
You scratch out Cam's touchdown against Michigan State with it. You rushed for over 200 yards with it last week. Is that what the identity is now, or is that maybe overstating what that is right now in terms of?
I don't think it's the only thing that we can do. I don't think that our offense can sustain the balance that I'm looking for just out of 2 tight ends. I think it has to be a significant part of what we do, but I think we have to spread the field as well. Last year it was a significant part of what we did, and a lot of it was because it simplified a lot of the reads for Everett. When you get into 2 tight ends, you take a lot of those calls away from defensive, teams. So I don't think it's the only thing. I think it's got to be part of what we do, but we have to continue to get better at, our 1-back sets, our 11 personnel, if you will, which is 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. I think that's the area that I want to see some more growth in.
Are you guys getting new turf in the stadium?
I don't know if you saw that. I think we have brought in turf from the goal line to goal line, from number to number. It's a fairly, we're pretty much redoing the field. As you know, it was in poor condition so early in the season. So we've really stripped it and in the process of putting down sod right now, and we're hopeful that that's going to give us a better surface.
Is that something that you make the call on, or when did you guys decide?
No, I made it pretty clear what I want for a surface, and that has not come to fruition at this point. But we're going to put the grass down, and we're hopeful that that's going to get us through the season.
Brian, I want to go back to the two tight ends. Just for Oklahoma, was that Ben Koyak's best game for you? It seemed he was really engaged.
This is his best game,
Yeah.
period,
Yeah.
as an inline blocker.
Right, right.
He was aggressive at the point of attack. He finished his blocks. We just think there's so much more for him. He's a terrific pass catcher. We just like to see it on a consistent basis.
Is he frustrated in that? It's
No,
a lot
I'm
of play, it's a lot of playing
frustrated.
time. Yeah. Is he?
We're both frustrated together.
Are you frustrated together there? I think there's times he's in the
I
routes
love Ben
that.
Koyak. I mean, we just want him to go. Let it go. It's just one of those things that I hope we see the next step. He saw himself on film have some success. As a guy that can get in there and get after people. He really, really struggled in some other games earlier in the year. Michigan State missed a couple of really key blocks and, committed himself and played so much better against Oklahoma. Hope we see that continue. And then I really think he's got so much more to offer in the pass game. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see that.
I wanted to ask you about Schwenke's penalty when his helmet came off. Obviously, it's technically a penalty. Can that be looked at in the future for a different penalty than 15 yards on the spot? Because it looked like it was hands to the face that took his helmet off.
Hands to the face took it.
Yeah.
And he actually backed out of the play. Here's what I said to the official. I said, when we start calling those, then we have to call the running back leading with the crown of his helmet. And then we just might as well flag every play. At this point. Let's use better judgment in that situation. He wasn't in harm's way. He wasn't trying to finish off a play. I just thought we used poor judgment and looking at the whole of the play. We gotta, I don't know. That's.
Could it be just be as simple as the next play if the player comes out, if his helmet comes off?
I can't process that one. I got too many things on my brain at this point right now. But I'm with you on that one.
Brian, were there things that Stanford did against Arizona State that you feel like your team has the same kind of personality, same kind of setup that you might be able to have some success with?
Well, Stanford, I think, was very opportunistic in throwing the football. Made some big plays in the passing game, which we hope to. And as you know, it was very effective running the football. Big, physical, strong football team. I thought Hogan played very well in the game. Arizona State turned the ball over, and so they capitalized on some mistakes there. Got up early and kind of cruised their way into that at home. I think, if you're asking about game plan, we need to run the football. It's better for us. Going back to Pete's initial question relative to identity, I think we have to run the football to be able to set up everything else that we want to do. And that starts with beating Arizona State. I think it starts with being able to run the ball.
How much is that? Last year, I think you were in the lead during the regular season 90% of the time. You only fell behind by 2 scores once against Pitt. How does that help the offensive identity running the football when you're working with the lead? Whereas this year, the last 4 games, you've been kind of working from 2 scores down.
Well, it certainly hasn't. It hasn't taken us away from our offensive game plan. We've stuck with, being patient offensively. If you look at the Michigan State game, I think we stayed with it. We just had a hard time running the football against a very good unit, and I thought we stayed very patient right through the fourth quarter with Oklahoma in terms of running the ball and staying with that. But there's no question about your question that it's easier, to run the football and maintain that kind of identity if you don't play from 14 points down.
Related to the running game, not to beat a dead horse, but is Bryant still injured this week? Is he in the mix this week?
No, he's not going to be. He does not look like somebody that we're going to be able to play this year. He's going to get PRP done on on his knee, so it does not look like he's going to be probably out for the next 4 weeks with PRP.
What's PRP?
Plasma replacement. It's a treatment for generally soft tissue injuries. He's got a severe case of patella tendonitis.
Anything else?
I'm sorry. I know we're all kind of in the dark about this government shutdown. I didn't know if you'd heard any update on the Air Force Navy games.
Yes, we have. We expect to play the game at Air Force because we're traveling there. So we've gotten the green light on the Air Force game that should go on even with the government shutdown. The Navy game obviously becomes more of a question. We're talking with them right now as to, you know, how we may be able to facilitate that through a third party relative to travel arrangements. So I think we're feeling fairly confident that we're going to be able to work out arrangements for the Navy travel, but we're in the process of that right now.
Coach, how did Malik's week go, and any chance that he might see some action this week?
Malik will not play unless there's an injury, but we have not closed the door on Malik playing this year. Right now it's Tommy and it's Andrew Hendricks, and you know we expect to win with those guys moving forward, but we haven't said Malik couldn't be part of the conversation down the road.
You had mentioned about Tommy the other day, avoiding the noise. Is that kind of maybe a theme throughout the team? You guys had to avoid the positive noise last year, but even as a head coach, do you kind of have to hunker down and say we need to focus on the ball here?
Sure, yeah. I think that comes with being here at Notre Dame. Our kids have been through it before, and they understand that that's not going to help them win on Saturday. So, we talk about it. We talked about it on Monday that the most important thing for them is to, focus on, the things that they can control.
Yeah.
So, we talk about it as a staff, and we talk to our players about it.
Brian, just a quickie on Josh Atkinson. Is he still at wide receiver? Is he back at corner?
He's working at wide receiver.
And how's that going?
It's pretty good. I mean, he's got a lot to learn. I mean, he's just started from scratch at the wide receiver position. But he's working on it every day, and he's somebody who really wants to get on the field. So he's engaged. He comes to work with a great attitude every day.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Great. Thank you.